welcome to July. Who's as excited as I am? It's July. In the academy, July is one of our favorite months. You know why? Because it is our TIP annual conference. And I'm going to tell you about it after a while. But congratulations on completing June. June was sex conversations, and every single one of you in the academy was able to come out with a move to start having those difficult conversations. We settled in June to make sure that everything you feel uncomfortable with that regards sex conversation, we were able to break it down for you. And many of you came up with your structured sex conversation plan. And of course, we're even taking it further to go do the Sex Educate Your Child Like a Pro challenge. It's all part of learning how to get comfortable, how to get more knowledgeable, and also how to structure our parenting plan. A few days ago, I was talking about parenting plans, and I was also talking about every single one of us having a manual. There's a saying that parenting has no manual. That is a lie. Parenting actually has a manual, and that manual is created by you. So whether you're parenting intentionally with a manual or not, you are actually parenting with a manual. The question will be, what will be inside that your manual? The level of what you know is what will be inside that manual. So welcome to July, where we're going to be talking about raising boys. I'm always excited about July. I don't know why. Because yes, I am very interested on how boys are raised. So in the month of July, we're going to be looking at raising boys that track. Everything that we're going to be talking about will be revolving around boys. I know that the conversation about boys have been played down over the years. But if our society is going to become what it should become, then we must pay attention to the men. And in level 1, we're going to be reading Raising Boys. Oh my God. When you read that book, you will know that you need a copy, a hard copy to keep by your bedside. Raising Boys is one book that every family should have. And don't tell me that you don't have boys. If you have only girls, trust me, you want to understand how your child will navigate the process of being that queen in that kingdom, and how to understand also the boys. So if you have girls, please read that book. So level 1, we're doing Raising Boys. Every other level have read that book. Everybody will agree with me that that book is something else. It was written by Jem Thompson, an American physician. Amazing read. You're going to be seeing why raising boys differently is a thing. And in level 2, we're going to be reading 5 conversations you must have with your son. It is by Vicky Courtney. Now, 5 conversations you must have with your son was where the launch plan, the idea of the launch plan came to me. I started creating the launch plan after I read that book. I started creating a system how I can launch my children from 0 to 18. That book is a blockbuster. And of course, if you haven't ordered for your parenting plan, remember that you need to actually pre-order so you can have a hard copy you can work with. That is part of your parenting manual. Oh yes, and that manual was actually built in such a way that it's skeletal and gives you room to actually create what will be sustainable for your family and also achievable. In level 3, hey senior yadas are going to be reading How Children Succeed by Paul Touch. Amazing book. We're going to be reading all of these books, and we're going to be, connecting it to how we're raising our boys. The team have prepared tools that will help you connect and also help you help your sons. Remember that I said that what raising boys is different from raising girls. Don't let anybody kid you. We cannot raise them same way. There is a difference. And in week 1, just like our monthly webinar, in this month, we're not going to have the separate monthly webinar. We actually put them on hold the June, July, and August because of the conferences. All right. So in this month, we're going to be breaking the webinars we're going to have in the weeks. In the last week of July, because of the conference, There's going to be webinar. The conference is enough webinar to last year lifetime. So in July first week, we're going to be looking at why you must never bail out the son. I will be having a session with you during the week, and I will talk to you about the bailout system. A system that a friend opened my eyes to, and I went on to research. It will blow your mind why you should never bail out a son. So that will be the theme for the first week, which is this week that we are entering. The second week, we're going to be looking at sex conversations with boys. And because it's also sex educate your child like a pro, I urge you, everyone, to register. I am not the only one teaching. I have brought in experts to help us also understand some concepts, better. Okay? And you want to be there. You want to be seated in that class listening. Every other is a learner. We are known for it. We are known to find knowledge wherever. All right? And with 3, I'll be teaching you how to create the husband in training manual. I have one. I said I was going to give it to every person who pre-ordered the launch plan in the inner circle. All right? I have one that I've worked with. The husband in training manual is an amazing tool. It's a manual that you can use to train your sons to become amazing husbands. And in the last week of July, we are having the conference, 21st to 30th, 7 days of was, like they will say. Not from me this time, but from coaches all over the world. We're having coaches like Bridget Miller, who works through the parenting with intentions. We're having Celia Kibla. We're having the likes of Taiwa Kinlami. We're having the likes of so many coaches, and Tietima, Ebuka, so many coaches in Nigeria. Temilolu Okowo, special needs coach, name it. Anything you can think of, you're going to see it at the conference. If you have never attended the TIP annual conference, we call it the Parenting Shiloh. Welcome. Please register and share link with your family and friends. Registration is on. So in that last week is our Parenting Shiloh. You're going to be seated humbly, reading, crafting and all of that. One of the things that we do in the inner circle is that after the Parenting Shiloh, we all sit and review what we have done. Can craft out what should be done and how we are going on as we are going. I want to also say well done to you because you have followed through and you are here following, striving. I know that there have been times when you just want to say, you know what, I don't want to learn this thing again. But like Coach Ebuka said the other time, it's not easy. It's not a parenting plan. You must craft out a plan that will help you and also help your children. Many times when I wake up and I feel like, this parenting thing is daunting, I said to myself, we are all a product of our programming. What program will my children have just because I raised them? Did I tell you that the theme of this year's parenting conference is the parenting advantage? What advantage will your child have because you were the one that raised them? We are all products of our programming. A few weeks ago, I was in a car with a friend. So my husband grew up in the north. My friend grew up in the north. I grew up in the east. And I bought a corn with pear. And I told them that corn with pear is the best thing that can happen to you after sliced bread. And they said, no, it's corn with coconut. How can you even eat corn with pear? So my husband said, I've started eating corn with pear, but that's what I know, corn with coconut. And my friend said, it's better that way. I don't want pear. So it was shocking to me that I was offering a delicacy like pear. If you're from the south, you understand what I mean. A delicacy from as pear, and you are saying that, no, you don't want. Oh, wow. Now, while we were talking in that car, I started to think. And I said to them, hold on. Do you know what has happened here? They said, no. I said, every single one of us are a product of the programs that we have been prefactored with by our parents. If I had grown up in the north, I would say that corn with coconut is the best thing. So it's not what we do today. It's not necessarily about right and wrong. It's usually about the program that have been installed in our brains. Now the question will be, if you want your children to actually do something more, what program would you have installed? Will you install the same program that you've been installed, you've been given? Or do you think that another program will help them better? Obviously. And that's exactly what the parenting advantage is about. We're a product of how we are raised, who raised us, and where we were raised. A few days ago, I shared about R. Kelly, who is currently being sentenced to 30 years imprisonment. And I like to go and find out why people do what they do. Because I know that everything we do comes from our program. And our program is predetermined from 0 to 11. And going back to history, I found that R. Kelly was actually abused as a child. So R. Kelly is a victim. He's a victim of sexual abuse that it was not sorted. Why? Because a parent failed him. Because the family system failed him. And today, he's paying the price. The price that is going to be generational. Because it is in his history that he went to prison. His children are going to carry that debt to what we call the 4th generation rule. And that 4th generation rule is part of the conversation that we're having today. If your generation is studied in the next 4 generations, what would they find? What they will find is what it is that you have been programmed with. What would they find in your children? It is what it is that you have been able to program your children with. Knowledge is a prerequisite for raising anybody, because you only give what you have, and you can only help your children according to the knowledge that you are able to access. Go for knowledge. While you are at it, practice it. I usually say that a yada is a thinking parent. An intentional parent is a thinking parent. What makes you intentional is the fact that you can think through your process. A parent went to school on open day, one of the parents in the inner circle, and decided, you know what, I'm going to do one of the tools that we do. The child is in boarding school. Instead of just going from one teacher to another, finding out how they are doing. And I smiled. Many years ago, I stopped going from one book to another. Instead, I taught my children how to actually review and evaluate themselves. So I used the time to connect in a better way with them. That was exactly what this parent did, and it was so heartwarming. I didn't teach it, but she's able to think it because of the wealth of knowledge she's been able to access in the past 6 months. It is in the doing that actually brings the miracle. Faith comes from hearing. Miracles come from doing. You need to do for you to see miracles. If you've not seen any change till now, it means that you're not doing. Like I say, if you are able to commit only 20% of everything that I say, only 20%, because I don't expect you to deliver 100%. If you're able to commit 20%, you will raise champions and kings. Congratulations to you. See you again everywhere in the yard, and see you as sex educate your child like a pro. No yard should miss it. See you also at the conference. Make sure that you tell your family and friends. The conference is free for everybody. Thank you, and do have an amazing July.